Hi, boys and girls. We're going to do a surprise gift for your moms for Mother's Day. So, shh, we're going to go ahead and write a little bit about your mom and then kind of decorate this writing piece. We'll laminate it, put a little ribbon on it, and you'll have it for next weekend for Mother's Day. And if you've already got an idea for your mom, that's okay. You can add this to your special gift. So, the first thing I want you to do is brainstorm some ideas about how you would describe your mom. So, I'll model that. We're going to use the good old web. I don't know if you remember the web, it's been a while. And we're going to write my mom, and you would do the same. I'll model writing about my mom, and you'll do your mom, but this will give you some ideas. So, my mom, when I think about my mom, she's super creative. Yeah, she's creative. She's a good cook. I think of that. She's very generous. And I also would say she's a good listener. Oh, she's also adventurous. So you can put as many as you want that would describe your mom. So these are kind of like your topics within the large topic of your mom. And then I want you to, underneath each one, give some examples. Like, why do I think my mom is creative? My mom is like an artist. She's so talented. She does calligraphy, which is that fancy writing with pens. She also paints and draws, and she makes cards, these beautiful cards that I actually buy from her, and she sells at some stores and at her church. So creative. So I'm going to put makes cards. And notice that I'm just going to use phrases. I don't need to do sentences. That'll be in the next part. Makes cards, she paints, she draws really well. So creative. She's a good listener. So I can tell her my problems. So listens to problems. And she gives advice, right? So a good listener who gives advice. Adventurous. My mother and I've always done fun things. Even when she was 70, she would whitewater rafting. So we went horseback riding, I think, for her 70th birthday. So I could even put like rafting. She likes to do things. Horseback riding. Those are some of my memories that I have with her. And she always liked to travel. I remember when I was in high school, she went with some friends to Paris and just had a great time. Generous. Oh, when my daughter was little, she had some hearing issues and speaking issues. And I had to take her to a speech therapist. So my mom helped pay for that. So she paid for therapy for my daughter because it was so expensive. We didn't have enough money to pay the therapist. So generous. She loves to give gifts. She's a gift giver. Gives gifts, especially at the holidays. She always makes you feel special with her gift giving. Good cook. She always makes healthy food. I've always loved that. Her food's always been very healthy, and she tries new recipes. So she's always trying something new. She's still telling me about new recipes she has made and shares them with me. So that's all I want you to do first. That's your first step to this project. The first step is just to brainstorm all the characteristics or the special things about your mom and give examples, because otherwise we don't just want it to be one sentence. My mom is a good cook. That's not very special. We want to make your mom feel very special. So that might be all you get done in one day, but I'm going to just show you the whole project so you can move on if you're ready. So once you brainstorm and make your plan, you are going to write in your neatest handwriting. And if you feel confident with your cursive, feel free to write in cursive. If you're thinking that that might take too long and it's not your best writing, then just print, and that's fine too. You're going to then write a paragraph about your mom. So thinking about EL and everything Mrs. Harrison has taught us, we want a focus statement. We want to, or you can call that a topic sentence. What are we talking about? Talking about my mom and what makes her special. So I'm going to indent and I'm going to write, my mom is a very special person. Okay, so make sure you start with your mom, my mom, and tell something about her. Is the most loving person. My mom is the best, whatever you want it to be. My mom is a very special person. She is so creative. So I'm just going back to my web and I'm finding creative. So this is the one I'm going to start with. Now I want to make sure I talk about the cards she makes and the fact that she paints and draws. So I'll put that in. Her drawings and paintings are beautiful. Now I'm going to put an exclamation mark there because I really mean it. She makes greeting cards for others. Now I hope you're noticing that every time I start a new line, I come all the way over to this red line on the left. I only indented the first sentence because it's the beginning of my paragraph. And I'm going to go all the way from that faint red line to the right back to this darker red line to the left. Remember, your holes are on the left side. I'm also thinking about my cups. The C for capitalization, U for understanding, P for punctuation, and S for spelling. If you don't know a word as far as how to spell it, get your quick word out and see if you can find it there, or just use your best spelling. So I have a capital at the beginning of my sentence. I have a period here. I leave a space. I start my capital, period, capital, exclamation mark, capital, period. We want our moms to be able to read this wonderful paragraph about them, right? So make sure you're checking your cups regularly. I think I'm going to proofread for my cups right now. Make sure I have a subject and predicate. My mom, that's my subject, is a very special person. That's the end of my thought. That's my sentence, so I have a period. She, my subject, is so creative. That's my predicate, and I have a period. Her drawings and paintings, that's the subject, are beautiful. There's my predicate, and I have an exclamation mark. She, that's my subject, makes greeting cards for others, period. So I'm going to go back to my plan. I've talked about the fact that she makes cards, she paints, and she draws. So now I'm going to go into a good listener. Okay, she listens to my problems and gives advice. My mom is also a good listener. Now I'm going to give my example. She listens to my problems and gives great advice. And I want my handwriting to be the best it can be. So don't rush through it, because this is something your mom will keep, because we're going to laminate it for years. I still have the one my son did for me years ago. My mom is also a good listener. She listens to my problems and gives great advice. Make sure you're using pencil. So when you proofread, like I just modeled, if you find a mistake, you can go back and fix it. So I got that section done pretty quick. Now I'm going to move on to adventurous. My mom and I have had many adventures. She is always willing to try new things. We have gone whitewater rafting and horseback riding. Now I know those are two things I wanted to mention because they're on my plan. However, if you think of things as you are writing, you may add to your plan. This is not the only things you can put into your paragraph. Rafting, horseback riding. I didn't mention travel, and I think I'm going to skip that because I added that she's always willing to try new things. So if you put something when you're brainstorming or planning and you decide not to put it in, is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to go back to my plan and talk about her being generous. She is also, and there's that linking word Mrs. Harrison's always talking about in EL. Make sure you have those linking words. She is also a generous person. When my daughter needed speech therapy, she paid for it. Her gifts, because remember I mentioned she likes to give gifts, her gifts always make you feel special. Now I'm going back to my plan. I talked about generous, paid for therapy, gives gifts. I'm down to one more section. She's a good cook. She cooks healthy food and always tries new recipes. So I want to read what I have so far. I'm going to proofread it. That's what I told you it's called, right? Make sure it's going well. My mom is a very special person. She's so creative. Her drawings and paintings are beautiful. She makes greeting cards for others. My mom is also a good listener. She listens to my problems and gives great advice. My mom and I have had many adventures. She's always willing to try new things. We have gone whitewater rafting and horseback riding. She is also a generous person. When my daughter needed speech therapy, she paid for it. Her gifts always make you feel special. I'm trying to think how to link this. Finally, but that doesn't sound very good. I don't know, it sounds too formal for this paragraph about my mom. Not to mention, let's try that. That's kind of fun. Not to mention, because that means in addition, right? Not to mention, I think I'll say my mom because I said a lot of she. So think about that. Sometimes you don't want to use the pronoun over and over again. You want to add the name. Not to mention, my mom is an amazing cook. Her meals are always healthy. And I'm going to do compound sentence here. And she loves to try new recipes. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, you've done everything on your list. So I've done good cook, healthy, new recipes, I'm done. But I need to wrap it up, just like we did in EL with our essays and our paragraphs. I need a conclusion. So I'm gonna go back to the top. It said, my mom is a very special person. So now you're gonna say something nice about your mom. It doesn't have to be about the things that her characteristics as much as like that you love her or that she's one of a kind. So I'm going to say, my mom is the best. But you can come, don't copy mine. Obviously you can't because it's a different mother, but you can say my mom is the best, or you could say something like, I love her so much. I really want this to come from your heart and make your mom feel special. Because the next thing you're going to do, and again, this will take a while. We don't want you to rush through this, Mrs. Harrison and I. You are then going to take this writing and you'll get a piece of construction paper, color of your choice. I think of yellow because I think of my mom with that color. She likes the color yellow. And I think I'll show you under the document camera so you can see what this looks like. You're going to cut this part off. Do you need me to stop recording? Okay, it'll be a few minutes. This margin off of your paper. Just cut carefully. Make sure you don't cut your words. And then if you want to, just to make it really pretty, you may want to cut, if you didn't use all the paper, you could cut around here on the bottom, kind of trim it up so it looks pretty. I think I might even cut this part. Do I want to cut? I might cut a little more. You don't have to. You can decide how. This is your gift to your mom. And then you're going to glue. Take your glue stick. You're going to glue this in the center of your construction paper. And we want to make it sure it's in the center, so we've created a nice border. Okay. And then what we thought would be nice, once you have that done, is to decorate your border. So I know my mom loves flowers. So I might do some flowers, right? Just around the corners and the sides. You could do hearts, you could do rainbows, you can do whatever you like. Okay, so you can do many things, but you want to decorate it all the way around. Like I said, I might do some hearts here as well. Something to make her feel special. And I would do that all around it. And it doesn't have to be the same. You might want to make it the same. Like, okay, I'm going to make a flower here, a flower here. Maybe I want to make flowers on the corners down here. Maybe I want to make it symmetrical, but you don't have to. Again, this is yours. It comes from your heart. And I would take a lot more time with this if I had it. So don't feel like you have to rush. I just wanted to give you the idea. And then I would put a little heart. If you can see this down here. Maybe a heart on the other side. So then I have on one side my paragraph about my mom and how special she is. And then on the back, you're going to draw a picture on white paper. Or if not, you could draw directly on there, especially if you're a remote learner, depending on what materials you have. Maybe a picture of you and your mom, or what you think your mom looks like. So I might just draw, maybe if you'd rather do it on white paper and then glue it on, that's fine. So I'm going to draw a picture of my mom and what I think she looks like. She has kind of short hair, but and then I could color it. I could draw a picture of my mom and I instead. You decide, but I want you to do an illustration of you and your mom, or an illustration of your mom, probably on a separate sheet of paper so you can make it stand out. And then Mrs. Harrison and I will laminate these. We'll tie some ribbon around them to make them extra special. And you will have a nice gift for your mom for Mother's Day. Can't wait to see them. Happy Mother's Day to all those moms out there.